Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining our virtual open day today for the Institute for Sustainable Resources. I'm Dr. Catherine Willan. I'm the programme lead for one of the MSc programmes that we're going to be presenting today, which is the Economics and Policy of Energy and Environment, MSc. I'm also joined by two of my colleagues, Dr. Stuti Rawat, who's going to be talking to you about the Business and Sustainability MSc, and Dr. Nino Jordan, who's going to be talking about sustainable resources, economics, policy, and transitions. So what we're going to do today is we're going to briefly introduce why we're here, what we're trying to do, and why you might want to study at UCL with us. And then we're going to introduce each of those programs individually. We're also going to talk a little bit around careers and hopefully allow some time for questions at the end. What I would encourage you to do is to type any questions that occur to you whilst we're presenting into the chat, so that if there are things we can start answering now for you, we are very welcome to get started on that. So please do use the chat facility to do that. Okay, let's get started. So if we could have the first slide, please. I imagine you're all here because you care about sustainability and you are really quite acutely aware of some of the enormous challenges that we're facing in terms of our global environment. You're probably also really interested in thinking about potential solutions to those. There's a lot of noise in terms of politics, in terms of the media, around all sorts of different, what the challenges are and how we should be solving them in terms of sustainability, in terms of climate, particularly around COP at the moment, as I'm sure you know. If we're going to respond to those well, and public and private sectors both need to respond, we need to do that in an informed way with the appropriate knowledge and skills so that we get solutions that really work. And that's really what our three MScs are trying to do. So we're also aware, and we put some stats on this slide, that people with green skills are increasingly in demand in the marketplace for exactly the sorts of reasons, that need for knowledge and skills that I was just talking about. So I put some stats on there from LinkedIn's latest report around global green skills, and you can see that globally there is a demand for people with these skills, and therefore a good opportunity in the jobs market for those who have them. Next slide, please. And one can really see that translating into where our graduates go. So we follow up with our graduates around sort of 15 months after they finish their course with us. And what we're finding is that they really are putting that knowledge into practice in the real world in a really wide variety of different job roles. So we've got graduates in consulting, we've got them in financial services, we've got them in technical and scientific jobs, we've got them in policy and government, charities, NGOs, and something that isn't on there as well is a lot of our graduates do go on to further PhD study as well. So overall, we've got 96.2 graduates in highly skilled employment, which is great news, really. And they're doing that not just in the UK, but in a wide variety of different countries around the world. Turnover, please. So why would you want to study at UCL? We're one of the top 10 universities in the world. And our faculty, which is the Bartlett, is ranked #1 in the world for architecture and the built environment. What is the built environment? It's anything that's human-made, if you like. So it could be buildings, but it could also be other man-made structures such as energy infrastructures, our roads, our airports, and so on. And that's why our Institute for Sustainable Resources fits very naturally into that. And what we do is to provide evidence, expertise, and training to respond to climate change, but also other important sustainable transitions. So I think what we have is rather a nice balance between a very sort of a specialized and quite a small institute where people know each other and collaborate, but you also get access to the really the scale of facilities that a top 10 global university can offer, like UCL, sort of the range of different career support of events and all the sorts of different subjects that we cover. Next slide, please. So UCL likes to think about what we call disruptive thinking. So we were, for example, the first university in the UK to admit women on the same basis as men, and to admit students from different religions. And that's one of the things that we think makes us inclusive and innovative, and one of the things that we try to aspire to now. And one of the things that we have pioneered is running exceptional programs in sustainability. We've been running these for over 10 years now, before the sustainability marketplace was quite as crowded as it is now. And therefore, we've got lots of experience in this. And we get external experts to quality assure our programs, and we get feedback saying that some of our programs are the best in their field, which is really pleasing, because obviously we want to train people to go out and do things well in the outside world. We do know, though, that sustainability is a very dynamic topic. So as we've grown, we've also adapted, and we know that student needs are dynamic as well. So we do adapt to that as well. As I mentioned, our institute is mission driven. So sustainability is really at the core of everything we do. We're not an economics department that runs a bit of sustainability. We're not a business school that has a small course on sustainability. Sustainability is everything that we do. Our staff don't do anything else. So it's really important to us. And we look at sustainability from a whole range of different angles. And we can really draw on the multidisciplinary nature of UCL. UCL is a very big university with lots of different staff expertise. So when you look at the programs, you'll be able to see quite a breadth, I think, in what we can offer you. As I mentioned, UCL's got a good reputation globally. So when you get a qualification from UCL, you can have a lot of confidence in that qualification in the marketplace. And perhaps not surprisingly, that means that we will ask you to work hard. You should expect to be stretched on our program, and hopefully that's something that you are looking for. And to help you not just learn stuff, but really develop that disruptive thinking, that creativity and innovation that's so important. And we think all of that together gives you opportunity. You can see from the graduate outcomes that we were just talking about that our alumni go on to a whole different variety of career paths from our courses. And one of the things that we can obviously offer is that we're located in the centre of London. London is a fun city to spend a year in, but it's also a very good place for hunting for sustainability jobs. Next slide, please. So as you've probably gathered, I'm talking very much about both knowledge and skills as something that you'll develop through the programs that we offer. So we're obviously looking at encouraging developing skills around business practice, policy, environment, and socioeconomic implications of sustainability challenges. So you all have that expertise and that knowledge to talk confidently about these issues, but also to think about them really critically, to think about them holistically and how things connect within a system so that you create solutions that are practical when you're planning approaches to sustainability. And all of that should help you develop skills that are really useful for the job market, whether that's leadership, collaboration, communication, and other things. And all of our programs offer that. Right, so what I want to do now is delve in depth to each of the programs individually. So I'm going to start with the MSc that I'm the director of, and then I'm going to hand over to my colleagues. So I'm the programme director for the Economics and Policy of Energy and the Environment MSc. It's a programme with a very long name. The name, though, is quite helpful because it does tell you exactly what we do. We do look very much at the economics of energy and climate change in particular, but we're highly aware that, one can calculate something like a price on carbon, but unless there's a feasible policy to make that implementable in the real world, it's not going to move things forward. And therefore, we are very, very consciously multidisciplinary in the approach that we take, so that we look at things in a fairly broad brush way whilst maintaining that focus on economics and policy. Could I have the next slide, please? So the way we structure the course is we look to develop the core knowledge of everyone around those economics and policy of energy issues in particular. You can then go on to develop your interests in more detail through your optional module choices, and finally specialise through the dissertation at the end of the course. Next slide, please. So the core knowledge we're looking to teach you is around that quantitative environmental and resource economics. We also introduce you to energy modelling and scenarios, which is a real strength of UCL and really, really important for policy making and increasingly for business decision making. We do the fundamentals of environmental policy and regulation, and we have a great political economy module on the politics, if you like, of energy transition around the world. And we underpin that with research methods training. Next, please. So once you've all got that common knowledge together, so that everyone from our multidisciplinary intake is on the same page, if you like, you are really free to develop your interests through our optional module choices. And this is the sort of thing that we tend to offer. You can see a list there. We don't ask you to choose a particular route. You very, very free to specialize. If you want to deep dive into economics, or you want to deep dive into business models or policy, that's fine. It is completely up to you to either specialize or mix and match. And that, again, we really feel quite strongly about, that you have that element of choice to develop your own interests. Next slide, please. The final element of the course is your own self-directed research project, your dissertation, looking at huge variety of different topics and methods. So these are some examples of things students have done in the past. So as you can see, they could be looking at anything from alternative fuels in aircraft to blockchain and lithium mining, PV recycling policy, modelling natural gas price trajectories, or even gender equality and social inclusion. So lots of room to specialise there following your own interests. Next slide, please. How do you apply? We are looking for a minimum upper second class in economics or a science, engineering or maths qualification. As I said, we are multidisciplinary, so if you can demonstrate an aptitude to be able to keep up with the quantitative elements of our course through other means, perhaps through your work experience, we are very, very open to that. What's really important is that your personal statement really explains why you are motivated to join this programme and really convey that interest to us. And there will be details for the prospectus at the end of this presentation. That's everything that I have to say. I'd like to hand over to my colleague to talk about the next programme, please.
Thank you so much, Catherine, and hello to everyone. My name is Dr. Stuti Rawat, and I'm the Deputy Program Director for the MSc in Business and Sustainability. This is a program that's led by Dr. Samuel Tang, who unfortunately couldn't be here, and we're helped by Paola Bertelli, who is our program administrator. So the Business and Sustainability MSc is not just solely designed to produce sustainability officers or allow people to work in specific roles in business. Rather, we are aiming to develop graduates who have a set of competencies and a level of knowledge that can enable them to make decisions that can lead businesses towards a just, sustainable transformation. So this program has been designed to provide graduates with key sustainability knowledge from a local to a global perspective. Could we have the next slide, please? So how the program is structured, we have core modules in term 1 and term 2. So in the first term, you learn about the business case for sustainability, approaches to address the sustainability gap in business, and how to consider sustainability from a strategic perspective. You also acquire knowledge of how to use data to support decision-making. In the second term, you start to learn about how business sustainability operates in different contexts globally, the role of finance, role of technology and innovation in meeting the sustainable development goals and business value creation, and you explore sustainable business in practice. So in term 3 and beyond, you focus on your capstone project, which essentially is an individual project that considers, an individual project that considers a practical mainstream business sustainability problem, opportunity, or topic. So collectively, over the program's journey, The modules equip you with the skills, attributes, and values you will need to thrive in your chosen workplace, whilst making a positive contribution towards solving the world's problems. You will reflect on your own actions and values in consideration of current and future environmental, social, and economic impacts. Practice critical and systems thinking and visualization mapping exercises to solve complex problems, and be able to assess and measure sustainability performance to develop organizations with a sense of purpose beyond traditional ways of business. And so the core knowledge and the interest that you develop over term 1 and term 2 feed into the capstone project that you undertake, the bulk of which is undertaken in term 3. And the way we have assessments structured in all of our modules, there's a wide range of assessment types. And there's also, for many of the assessments, the ability to choose your own independent topic. So all of these things allow you to delve further into the things that interest you, and allow you to take a deep dive into them when you come to the capstone project. Could I have the next slide, please? So the capstone project is your final piece of work on the MSc. And while this module runs across the entire year, the majority of your work will be completed in term 3 and the summer. Now, this work will be largely independent with the support of regular meetings with a supervisor. In your capstone project, you will apply some of the concepts, tools, frameworks, and skills covered in the program to a practical mainstream business sustainability problem, opportunity, or topic. So the project provides you with an opportunity to develop and investigate a topic that captivates you. And it's also an opportunity to make an original contribution to knowledge, as well as practice how to design and deliver an independent project and relate your findings to a professional or policy context. So the output from the project could take one of 3 formats. You could be writing to a research audience, you could be writing to a business audience, or you could be writing to a policy audience. Importantly, as a student, you get to choose which audience you would like to present information to from these 3 options. The module allows you to take responsibility for your learning by focusing and gaining experience in delivering a meaningful project, which is aligned with a typical output and which also provides employability skills relevant to your prospective or current profession. So the research option, for example, might align with careers in academia and research. The business option would align with careers in the private sector, while the policy option could align with the civil service, public, or third sector work. Next slide, please. Over here, we have listed some of the topics that students have worked on in the last year. And as you can see it's quite a wide variety. We have students that have worked on climate reparations and corporate actors. We've also had projects that were exploring sustainability strategies in the shipping industry, students looking at the agri-food sector, looking at plant-based analogs in France. It really depends on your interests and where you choose to go with the capstone project. Could we have the next slide, please? So the question of how to apply. So applications to the programs are highly competitive, and the deadline for applications is set to 31st of May 2025 if you require a visa. Offers are based on the strength of the application and merit. So we encourage you to think carefully about how you address the application statement criteria when you're applying. We welcome applications from all disciplines, and the entry requirement is set at a first or upper second class UK bachelor's degree in any discipline, or an overseas qualification of an equivalent standard from a recognized higher education institution. If required, there's also an English language requirement of level 2. Those requirements will be relaxed in consideration of UCL's access and participation plan. So for example, if applicants can demonstrate relevant work experience in a business, government, or third sector organization that appears to demonstrate commitment to sustainability, leadership, aptitude for teamwork and collaboration, some of those considerations could be relaxed. As part of your application, you will need to write a personal statement. So if you have a look at the graduate prospectus, under the section Next Steps, there is some guidance. Some tips that I could offer to you right now is that a few tips would include explaining clearly why you're interested in studying business and sustainability, what interests and motivates you about this topic? Why are you studying this topic now? And what knowledge and skills can you draw upon from what you have previously learned or from your professional experience? Similarly, it would help if you could identify a particular module in the program that catches your eye. Why does that module catch your eye? How do you anticipate that it will help you with your future career? For any work experience that you have, it would be helpful to be specific about your role, what you did, how did you help a team complete a particular project, what was the project, who did you work with, what were the outcomes of that work, what in particular did you learn, and how could this be applied or further developed in the MSc? Do explain what your future career plans are and how this MSc will help you achieve those. If you don't have a particular career path in mind, that's also fine. In that case, you can think about the kind of opportunities that you think may be of interest to you and relate them to how you think this degree will help you achieve those. And finally, when putting your application together, please take your time and carefully review your application before making the submission. And with that, I come to an end. Thank you. And I'm going to hand over the floor to my colleague to introduce the next MSc program.
Hi everyone, I'm Eno Jordan. I'm Associate Professor in Teaching for Sustainable Resources and the Circular Economy. And I used to lead the Masters in Economics Policy in Sustainable Resources, Economics Policy and Transitions for, I think, 4 years. So I'm here now representing the actual program leads, and I'm very keen to talk about my experience, and I'm looking forward to your questions. But let's start with the next slide, please. So basically what we offer is a very holistic program looking at economics policies in transitions. So basically the main components of what you need to tackle global resource challenges. And we have a very wide perspective on resources, which also incorporates climate change and the adjacent problems resulting from that, how we can tackle that. In term 1, we have 4 core modules: Introduction to Sustainable Resources, Challenges and Principles. And this is where we really engage with the different problems. And lots of students have told us in the past, oh, we know about the problems, but we really want to learn more about the solutions. And so we offer solutions as well. We look into the solutions. We start with the economic perspectives. In term 1, you get the foundations of environmental economics, which prepare you for resource economics and policies in term 2. So this is a really soft, relatively easy approach for those who are not fully versed in economics yet. So this takes you by the hand and puts you into the position to really grapple with more advanced economic concepts and analysis later on. Then we have policies for sustainable resources. There you will learn a lot about all the different policies that are currently in place and that are being pursued for tackling environmental challenges. And we will also learn about the shortcomings of these policies and how we can improve those policies. And then a particularly relevant module here in term 1 is also tools for assessing sustainable resources, because you need to be able to actually measure the environmental impacts of our current production and consumption models and understand better what any interventions or changes could have in terms of knock-on effects, or where you could potentially have undesirable side effects or rebound effects and so on. So in term 2, apart from resource economics and policies, where we go more into depth regarding the economics dimensions, we also offer a core module on future resource pathways and visions, because sustainability is a lot oriented towards the future. We want to avoid climate breakdown in the future. We want to avoid environmental destruction. So we need to shape viable pathways towards a more sustainable future. So this is a really really crucial module, and this will also allow you a lot of freedom to shape your own ideas of what potential futures you would like to materialize. Then you also have two optional modules here, and there's a really wide range of optional modules which we offer where you can achieve a specialization, a thorough specialization in diverse fields. So you will be able to, regardless of your career aims, you will be able to find a good set of optional modules, and together you will get a good set of core skills, of applied skills, which will be valuable for any employer. And term 3 is committed to the dissertation project, and there you have a lot of liberty as well to really do the research you would like to pursue. And there's also the option to work with external partners to really make it relevant for industry or government or civil society. And then you also have the economics examination in term 3. Next slide, please. So, wow, this is a wealth of optional modules. We have to keep up with EPEE here, the other masters we've already talked about. So we also offer you a full palette of different optional modules. So you can specialize in user consumer behavior, econometrics, industrial symbiosis, commodity trade, governance, innovation and business, environmental and social risk management of major projects, data analytics, or life cycle assessment. So there's something in there for everyone. And so, and the program leads will be happy to consult you in how you can optimally structure your studies to best achieve your career objectives. Next slide, please. So we demand normally at least a minimum upper second class UK bachelor's degree or an equivalent, and English language level 2. Would be quite desirable to have a relevant first degree, for example, in physical or political sciences, economics, geography, law, engineering, etc., and experience using quantitative methods. But we are also, if you can make a good case for why you are really interested in studying this, and ideally you already show us a track record of a deep investment into this field, then you may also apply with other degrees. We even had, I think, a literature degree in the past. So, but then I think it's best to make a really solid case for how you will be able to cope with our requirements. Yeah, I think Stuti already mentioned lots of good advice for writing personal statements. So we really want to know why you're passionate about studying this. Ideally, you demonstrate this by past experiences. So because it's kind of easy to say, oh, I'm really interested in this, but if you actually have past experience already, that is a more proven indicator of sustained interest in these topics. Yeah, ideally, yeah, you should provide references, an academic reference, at least one. Yeah, tell us about your professional or voluntary experience. And also, yeah, make sure to not just delegate it to ChatGPT, but to really write a personalized, individualized, very strong application. Next slide, please. So applications you can apply now. And so what we offer, again, to recap, is a really holistic program where you can find a deep specialization as well. So we can be very broad, but you can then be very incisive and do very profound analysis. So yeah, we had kind of similar, I think it was quite similar to what Catherine has shown you. The breakdown between the different career paths is actually quite representative for the SREPT as well. So happy to answer any questions. Do we have another slide here? Oh yeah, there we are already with the career support and services. Catherine, I'll probably hand over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Nina. That was great. So you've had a great overview of the 3 different programs that we offer. Dele is now going to speak about career support and services.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Dele Anthony, and I will just be sharing with you what we offer at BaS and the wider UCL regarding career opportunities whilst you're studying with us. And congratulations for making the bold step to come today. But when you do join your various programs, you will have the opportunity open to you to liaise with the UCL Career Services led by Lee Pike, and I'm in the department, and I'm the tutor that will be liaising with you regarding your career progression with us. We offer at UCL a one-to-one career coaching services for all students, personalized for you, advising you on your careers path. And this covers interview techniques and, of course, how to also apply for jobs. We run various workshops. When I say various, we run a number of workshops, and you need to pick which one suits you and which one aligns with your career's prospect. And the main thing that we would like to say is that we also run in-house workshop just for our students, and that is workshop around how to find a niche market in jobs, and also how to apply for those jobs. And I would say if those are offered, please do try to attend, but we will also try to record them for you as well for later on if you have lectures. Next slide, please. Going forward, we have careers fair that we also offer students. Are we on the next slide? I'll come back to the internship afterwards because I just needed to talk a bit more about the careers fair. So if I can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we offer job fairs that is set up in the main campus, and potential employers are invited to give students insight onto the different various industry out there and the kind of job and opportunities they have to offer. Some of those do include employers that want to recruit for graduate scheme. So I would advise, if you are interested, to approach them for opportunities as well, since you will be applying for like a degree starter level job. So do ask them what they do have on offer for yourself if you feel that what they're providing you might not be in line with what you're applying for. So don't be afraid to speak to them about your alignment in careers. We also have various resources online that offer job boards for any current jobs that is actually for you. So we have a lot of adverts coming out from employers that we put up on the job board. And also we have an in-house Moodle page for just the BaS, which is our faculty and our department students, that we put a more narrowed down, slimline approach of jobs that is particularly for your program on this. And you will all be invited by like an announcement to tell you what's coming up next. So don't worry that you might miss any opportunity, that we do prompt you, and we have weekly newsletters that we try to pull all activities regarding careers and other various aspects around the department. We offer a great network of alumni that we set up in each programs in the Institute of Sustainable Resources, and we liaise with all the students that have signed up to this service. So we invite them for like a night that you can network with them and see their career progression from completing the degree. So this is like an opportunity that I would suggest that you wouldn't want to miss, because you can be offered mentorship through this, and this will be advice that will be ongoing throughout your time with us. And we also offer opportunities for apprenticeship support. So if you are interested in starting your own business, whilst you complete your program with us, we have a department within UCL that offer workshop for people thinking like a startup. They also mentor and they also provide funding opportunities. So I think if you don't mind going back to the other slide, I just want to explain the previous slide. Thank you. No, that's there. So I just wanted to highlight this aspect of internship and placement. We emphasize a lot on internship and placement during your degree with us, because this is a practical gain for you to have an insight into industry. We also have something called the BALET Building a Better Future project, which runs from the application opens in February, and it's basically an experiment for students to have a hands-on experience of real-life briefing program that will give them an understanding of what industry they'll want to actually apply jobs in. I have to say there's like an opening of 75 positions, so it's quite limited, but I would say apply early, because this project can give you you'll be able to have positive feedback from industry, and they'll be able to develop your transferable skills, and you learn more about team working, presentation, public speaking, and solving problems and management, project management skills as well. This will be part of your project that you do. This is separate to your degree, so it's a project that you do with industry, and you will be able to have a presentation at the end, and you'll be able to learn more if you do decide to enter into it. The internship is mostly during term 3, because we don't want you going on internship during term 1 and 2. So bear in mind that the Bartlett Promise project as well, it's during term 3. So don't worry, everything is factored around your studies. And thank you for listening, and I will take any questions in the Q&A. That'll be great. Thank you.